So if you're thinking of moving to San Antonio and you're trying to figure out where exactly you want to live, today is the perfect video for you. We are going to go through every single area, community within San Antonio so that you can find out exactly where you want to live in this beautiful city. Now, when we're talking about each and every one of these areas, we're going to get into everything you need to know about it. That way you have the best decision of where you want to live within the San Antonio area. We're going to talk about where some of these suburbs are. We're not going to get into the specifics, but we're going to show you where each of them are. We're going to talk about what there is to do in each of these areas, what communities are there, where the most affordable homes are, where the highest priced homes are, and where the homes are with the largest acreage lots if you're looking for something like that. We're going to talk about what employers are kind of close by, and what the commutes kind of look like. And then we're also going to get into the real estate specifically. Like I said, we're going to talk about some of the lower priced areas where you can get a home under $200,000 still in 2023. And then we're also going to talk about what the median price point is, how many homes are for sale, what kind of homes you can expect to get in each of these areas. So now let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that we're looking at doing is we are starting with the overall location of San Antonio. So San Antonio itself is in South Central Texas. So Texas, as you can see, kind of, south part of the United States. We're in South Central Texas right here. We're in a really unique location in that we are right on the intersection of a bunch of highways, like all the major cities are. But we're the furthest south, major city whenever it comes to the big four in Texas of Austin, Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. We are, other than Houston, we're the closest to the beach. We are in a prime location for a lot of different employers just because of being close to the border and also being close to the coast and being relatively good location to Austin and getting to Houston and Dallas for that matter, and out to the West Coast as well. So there's a lot of things that are benefits to San Antonio's location from that aspect. Now we're looking at the overall layout of San Antonio. San Antonio itself is surrounded by a couple major loops. So Loop 1604 is the big one. Loop 1604 is basically the outer edge of San Antonio. Kind of south end here, you can kind of see is not as well developed, but everything within the loop up north and in central San Antonio is all major part of the city. Whenever I would say outside the loop, outside 1604 is usually what I'm talking about there. Now we also have Loop 410, which is the inner loop. So Loop 410 kind of surrounds the inner city part of San Antonio. That's the old outer loop where San Antonio used to be located, just within 410, until we just exploded over the last 40, 50 years, and now we got 1604. Another major highway that kind of goes through is I-10. That I-10 goes directly out to Houston through Seguin, and then it turns up and goes north, basically up to Bernie, and then goes out to El Paso area. I-35 through New Braunfels from Austin, and that carries basically all the way down and then heads off to like Uvalde, Laredo, those areas. Then we also have 90. 90 goes also out towards the border. 90 basically is I-10 and just kind of goes east to west. And then we also have 281, comes from Bulverde, Spring Branch, Canyon Lake area, goes straight south, turns into 37. And then you get 37 that goes straight down into Corpus Christi, down to the beach. So if you're taking the beach, more than likely that's the road you're going to go down to get to Corpus, Rockport, those types of areas, Port Aransas. Now, if we're looking at the overall development of San Antonio, as you can see here, San Antonio itself, as we're looking in, you can kind of see where the growth is. The major areas of San Antonio are right in this area here, and you can kind of see, central San Antonio right here. The growth has gone northeast out towards New Braunfels, and it has started, you can see it creeping west. So west, northwest, and then up northeast up this way too. That's up Stone Oak area. And then of course Bernie. You can see there's not as much development along I-10. Lots of hill country area out here, but Bernie right along I-10 has got a decent amount of development too. So you can see northeast is where the majority of the development is going. That's why they're talking about a lot of the growth between Austin and San Antonio becoming the new metroplex in Texas. So you got, a pretty good ways for that to go. There's a lot of growth that still has to happen. It's a long ways up there, but the growth between San Antonio and New Braunfels is coming much quicker. So that's where the big majority of the development is looking at from here. Now, I mentioned we were going to talk about schools. So schools are a tricky part because there's a lot of things that go into it. The ratings themselves would take forever to go into, but I have done a video about the schools specifically. So if you're interested in that, take a look at this video right here about the best schools in San Antonio, and then you can come back in and keep watching this video right here. Now, let's get into the different areas. So the different areas that we're going to be looking at are going to be the Northwest, the South Side, North Central, East Side, Northeast, and then the final one that we're going to talk to that I mentioned to you about is the Central Downtown area. So not a lot of people think about the downtown area whenever they're looking at moving to San Antonio. they think of it just as the Riverwalk Pearl area, just a place to go hang out. Well, there is quite a bit of housing in that central downtown area, and there's a lot of different types of houses that you may not have thought about. There's a lot of new houses that are getting built up. There's some older lots, some older homes that have just been run down and abandoned for a long time that they're starting to buy up, and they're building the new townhome style, modern style homes down there. So there's a lot of those options out there as well. So we're going to get into specifics about what the downtown area looks like to live at the very end, so make sure you're sticking to that. But we're going to get into the rest of it right now. We're going to start with the northwest side. So we're looking at the northwest side. We're looking at this corner basically from I-10 going up this direction, and we are looking at kind of the southern side of this is 151 here. So basically we're going to look at this kind of corner right here. We're going to include Helotes in this, and then kind of go up this way, and then kind of tuck right in here on the inner side of Loop 410. So this whole area is going to be our northwest side. So what we have here is we have a lot of the major employers, a lot of the major things that you're looking at whenever it comes to San Antonio as a whole. We have La Cantera Mall, shops at La Cantera. We have the Rim. We have UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio. Some of the major employers are USAA, Valero. Let me show you where those guys are at here. So if we're looking at UTSA is right here on this side, right here, University of Texas San Antonio. Shops at La Cantera is right here. Over here we have the Rim up here just on the, just across from La Cantera there. USAA and then Valero. Valero is actually right here. Get rid of that nonsense. Come on now. All right, Valero, main headquarters for Valero is right in here. We have the USAA headquarters, which is somewhere in this area down here. We also have the Southwest Research Institute, big, engineering and research complex. We also have Six Flags Fiesta Texas right here next to La Cantera. And then on top of that, we have, like I said, Helotes. So Helotes is right over here on this corner. Helotes is a really good spot. Kind of one of the areas I talk about with Helotes being, kind of a lot of hill country stuff right out in this area whenever you're kind of getting further out of San Antonio. Lots of really good hill country views out in Helotes if you're looking at housing and how all that goes. We also have a lot of parks. So Opie Naval Park here, really cool park. I think it's a couple 100 acres, a really, really good looking park here. And then we also have the Leon Creek Greenway. So the Leon Creek Greenway basically runs all the way up through San Antonio, the northwest side of San Antonio this way. It's just under 19 miles of trails, and they're all paved. Great biking trails, great running trails for doing long runs like that. Super popular area for people to jump on, especially going through a lot of these neighborhoods up on that northwest side. In addition, we also have the medical center here. So the medical center specifically is right in this area. You can kind of see that's where the Methodist Hospital is. I mean, you can kind of see all the development here. All medical center right in this area. It's unique in that there's a lot of condos in this area. So if you're, a medical professional, if you want to live close by, if you're going to med school down there at one of the UT health facilities, you can live in a condo, buy a condo, keep it, rent it out afterward, or just rent a condo. Very walkable area, very bikeable area. One of the few areas in San Antonio that has that other than downtown. So it is very, very beneficial from that aspect too. And we're going to talk about some of those condo pricings as well. Now, we're also looking at, quite a few other neighborhoods. So you can see all the housing that's kind of scattered all through here. So some of the major neighborhoods in this area, I mean, you can see here, Woodridge is a big one, Oakmont Downs, up here, Tanglewood's super popular. Over on this side, you have Bronze Station, which is incredibly popular, really cool houses down there. Northwest Crossing, and then like I mentioned, you got everything in Helotes up in this area, and then headed up, Cross Mountain, Gray Forest, Leon Springs, kind of halfway between Bernie and San Antonio, is incredibly popular as well. You also have some of the more luxurious neighborhoods in the Canyons at Scenic Loop, which I believe, let me see here, I think that's right, it is right here. So Canyons at Scenic Loop, you can kind of see the style of home here. It's lifestyle at Stadler. Stadler's a very high-end builder. So, you got a lot of stuff that, a lot of options whenever it comes to stuff on the northwest side. Now, if we're looking at it as a whole, who exactly is going to be living in this area? We're going to be looking at people that are, working or, going into UTSA, up right around UTSA, great rental area for buying a rental property and renting it out to UTSA students. Medical center, condos, anybody that's a medical professional, of course, living close by or just in the general northwest area. Very easy drive to get into the medical center. It's also a 15 to 20 minute commute down into downtown. You also have, everything else that's kind of on that outskirts of San Antonio, on the outer edge of 1604. There's a lot of businesses and everything that are involved there, but a lot of, kind of your classic single family homes out here. There's not really anything, that's too crazy, other than you get the condos down into, in the medical center area, and you have some of the more luxury homes outside of the Northwest area, kind of out in that Leon Springs area. There's also some of those out in Helotes area as well, but it's a very good mix of wooded areas and very established neighborhoods too. Lots of big trees in the northwest side, especially in amongst those neighborhoods like Woodridge, Tanglewood, and then Braun Station too. All of those areas, older homes, lots of character, lots of big trees, and lots of wildlife too. All right, so now as we're looking into the types of houses, let's go in specifically and check out my MLS backend, and we'll look at exactly what homes are for sale in here and kind of show you which ones are available at each price point. All right, so as you can see, we got 767 homes for sale on the northwest side. The median price point in this area is right around $320,000, with the condo median price point being at $183,000. So we got 767 houses for sale. Median price point of around $320,000, and the median price point for condos at $183,000, with basically all the condos over in that medical center area being under $200,000. Very few up above $200,000, making for a great option for medical student or first time medical professional moving into the area and trying to get their first property. Now, when we're looking at the range of houses, we have literally a range from like 100,000 all the way up to over 4.5 million, which is an outlier in this case, but we do have a decent amount over $1 million. But most of the homes in this area are below that like 550 to 600,000 range. So when we're looking at the specifics as far as what the homes themselves are going for, let me give you a quick little rundown as far as what you can get in these price points. Now, again, this $95,000 home, we're looking at a condo here, one bed, one bath, 575 square feet. You can kind of see what you're getting there, but still under 100,000 buy property, not too shabby. Now, if we're going into a lot of these other areas, let's see here. We are going to go and take a look at mid 200. So again, another townhome style condo. So this is one in Hillcrest, Piper's Meadow. You can see that's another condo. This Great Northwest, Ridge Creek. These are all low $200,000 homes in the Northwest area. Very, very good area. Lots of great stuff in that low 200 still. Now, if we're getting up into kind of the more median price point, let's look at the low threes. We'll start at like 320-ish. A little bit bigger home, closer to 2,000 square feet. Two-story home there. That's over by UTSA. This one's a pretty good size home, 2,200 square feet. Here's a 2,600 square foot home for $325,000. Looks pretty solid, actually. Looks really clean too. Lots of different options there for low threes. Now getting up into the 500s, closer into the 500s. Heights at Two Creeks, you're getting into the higher quality builds now. You can see 2,400, 2,700 square feet. This one's out on some acreage, actually. This one is on almost an acre here. And then look at this Sonoma Ranch in Helotes. How about that for under 500,000, 3,100 square feet? Man, look at that house. So you can kind of see what we're talking about. Very affordable homes still in San Antonio. Now, if we're looking at some of the higher priced homes, again, up in the $1 million price point, we'll look at a couple of these in Canyons at Scenic Loop. There's a new build. There you go. Kind of classic, what you would think of if you're thinking of, high quality homes. Lots of modern styles. Canyons at Scenic Loop. Sonoma Ranch is another big one. Iron Horse Canyon, Canyons at Scenic Loop. So again, a lot of different variety of options whenever it comes to housing, especially looking at condos and looking at houses in that northwest side. Now let's get into one of the most overlooked areas of San Antonio, and that is the south side of San Antonio. By far, probably the most affordable area of all of San Antonio. And one of the reasons that it's been overlooked is that it is, all the growth in San Antonio, like I mentioned, has gone north, northeast, northwest. It hasn't gone south. It's gone up into the hill country. That's just been the area that a lot of people have been driven to because of employment, because of things to do, because of a lot of different factors. But south side of San Antonio is still a great place for a very, very affordable home, and it's got a lot going for it too. There's some of the major employers, such as the Toyota plant, which is a little bit further out, right down in this area. You also have the brand new or relatively new anyways, Texas A&M University San Antonio campus, brand new university that's, you know, just a few years old. You also have one of the major attractions in all of San Antonio, the San Antonio Missions National Historical Park here. So this is where all of your, you know, the major missions of San Antonio other than the Alamo are located, you know, right along the San Antonio River right here going up into the Alamo. Brook City base, former military base. It's also, you know, now been turned into a retail, you know, residential location. So there's a, you know, a lot going on there. South Park Mall over here on this side. It's basically everything south of 90 and, you know, we'll call it 87 here. So I-10 kind of comes down, kind of goes up into the east side here, but basically 87 and 90, everything south of there is what we're looking at as far as the south side goes. In addition to all that, you actually have some really great fishing lakes. So Calaveras Lake right here and Bronig Lake, outstanding fishing. I fished there plenty of times myself. One of my favorite places to go fishing in all of San Antonio because they have freshwater redfish. Usually you have to go down to the beach and catch those, but you can go get a guide or even just go fish right off the bank at one of those lakes and catch some monster redfish, monster catfish. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people that go out there all the time. It's not a really big recreational lake because it is a power plant lake, so the water is pretty warm. I mean, we're talking like 98 to 100 degrees water just because they're using it to cool the power plants. But the fishing there, and you know, you can get out on a pontoon boat, take it out on the lake. A lot of fun for that kind of stuff. Now, when it comes to neighborhoods and what the type of home, you know, type of people that are living down the south side, again, it's a lot of older homes. And it's very similar to the east side as well. A lot of these homes have been owned by people since, you know, they were built, and that was 30, 40 years ago. I mean, they're smaller homes, so it makes for, you know, the housing is a lot more affordable down there. Also, whenever they're building, it's a lot flatter, so it's a lot easier to build down there. So you get a lot more, you know, I think the builders have started to figure that out. I mean, you're looking at like new neighborhoods like Mission Del Lago, Blue Ridge Ranch, Cinco Lakes. Let me see what else we got. We got, you know, Salado Creek, and then even some higher end builders like Perry and Highland Homes are starting to build in Southside and a new neighborhood called Vita, which we'll look at here in a second when we go look through the MLS. But, you know, the major thing with the Southside is that, you know, whenever you get into all of these, you know, these neighborhoods here, you know, you can kind of see, you know, got Joint Base Kelly Airfield. I mean, this is kind of where, you know, Lackland Air Force Base is over here. That's, you know, really the west side here. We're kind of looking over this direction here. But looking at all of these areas, you know, it's a lot of older, smaller homes. So that's why the prices are a lot lower specifically. When you get outside of the city, you know, outside of 410, you kind of get into more acreage communities. So you get a little bit bigger lots, a little bit higher priced homes out there. So again, it's kind of just looking at the variation between the different types of homes. There's also quite a few homes for sale in this area. Okay, so now if we're looking at the south side here, so you can see it's a much larger area than the northwest side. That's why there's so many more homes, 939 homes for sale down here. Now, if we're looking at price points, like I said, we're looking at a median price point of under 300,000. We're looking at around 299-ish is where we're at here. We're looking at a, oh, just kidding. Forget what I just said there. Okay, cut that part out. As you can see, we're kind of looking at a larger area of where the homes are at on the south side versus the northwest side, and that's why there's a little bit more homes. We're looking at 939 homes for sale. The median price point is the lowest of all the areas at 257,000, with pretty much everything, you know, or most everything below 300,000, and quite a few options still below 200,000. We actually have, you know, I think, you know, quite a few new builds too. Oh, there we go. 170 homes under 200,000 in this area, which is pretty ridiculous. So now if we're going to look into some of these, another big thing is that, like I mentioned, a lot of the new builds, we have 939 homes that are in this area for sale, and over 380 of them are new builds. So you have a ton of new build options in this area, and most of those are under 300,000 as well. You got kind of a wide price range of 200 to up to 500,000 for the new builds, but very few of them at all are over 500,000. And just to give you an idea on the affordability, you actually have 170 homes under 200,000 and only 21 that are over 500,000 out of all 939 of these homes. So now, if we're looking at, you know, what you're getting, you know, you can see, we'll just show you some of these. So you got like I said, a lot of older, I mean, built in 1925, I mean, older homes, 1947, 1951, smaller homes, right? So that's kind of where you're looking at why the prices are so low. I mean, you can kind of just get an idea. These are the ones that are more inner city, these old homes that have been owned by the same people forever, and have just never been put on the market, and now they are. Now, if we're getting into some of the, more closer to the median price point homes, we're looking at like 220s and up. You can see you're getting a little bit bigger there, kind of nicer homes there. I mean, that's a relatively newer home, another older home, but been well taken care of and built up. There's a new build here, new build there. So $234,000 for a new build. Then over here, $234,000 for a new build. So that's, you got the new builds all over the place. I mean, these are all new builds. Look at them. So, you got quite a few options when it comes to new builds at very, very affordable pricing. Now, if we're getting up into the, probably 300,000 or 400,000, just to give you an idea as far as what you're looking at there. The house with a pool, they're almost 3,000 square foot house with a pool for under, 400,000. This is a really nice one too, Marbella. That's a new neighborhood. New build, new build, new build, new build. I mean, we could probably keep going on another new build. So there's an older home. Oh, here we go. These are townhome, little condo things that they're building. I think these are over by Brook City Base, it looks like. But look at these. These aren't too shabby at all, actually. So under 400,000, 2 bed, 2.5 bath. Okay. So let's look at some of these that are in Vita. You can see clearly higher quality home. Perry home for 425,000, 2,200 square feet. This house up in Bernie is probably closer to 550 is 600 square feet, or 600,000 possibly. Much affordable pricing when it comes to this kind of stuff. You can see outstanding homes by Perry, and Highland as well. Who's this one built? Perry Homes as well. Yeah. So again, when it comes to the south side, you're looking at very affordable homes. You're looking at a lot of new builds, and you're looking at an up-and-coming area that's starting to get a lot more growth in. I mean, you can just see by the amount of new builds that are being built, those builders are seeing something down on the south side of San Antonio. So now let's get into the north central area of San Antonio. One of the more higher-priced areas. We're looking at the area basically from down here, kind of almost Park area. Give you a little visual here. We're looking at kind of this area up here, 281, south of 281, then up here, and then kind of going up north to the Dominion area here, all the way down, back down. Okay, so we're looking at the Dominion, which is up here. We have Chavano Park, we have Hollywood Park, we have Castle Hills, Olmos Park is down in this area, and that's the majority of where we're looking at with whenever it comes to the north central area. It's, as you can see, it's kind of easy to see actually. So if you look over here, northwest side, there's a lot of trees out in this area, but when you're looking at north central, just look how thickly wooded all these trees are. There's a lot bigger lots, so a lot of trees, a lot of custom homes, a lot of higher priced homes. This neighborhood specifically, Inwood, is a higher end home. Churchill Estates is a great area. Chavano Park, Hill Country Village, Hollywood Park are some of the most popular areas of San Antonio. You also have this big neighborhood up here in Rogers Ranch, newer homes, bigger homes, really outstanding homes for a higher price. And then the Dominion up in here. The Dominion is the premier luxury home community in all of San Antonio. It is where a lot of the big superstars like George Strait, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Monty Ginobili, all those big Spurs stars, that they've all lived there in the Dominion at one point in time, I believe. Chavano Park and Hollywood Park, Hill Country Village, Castle Hills, where a lot of full custom home, mid-century modern homes, half-acre plus lots down in those areas, and then down into, like Olmos Park area, you get a little bit, more so of the kind of inner city San Antonio home styles, a lot of multifamily homes down in that area as well, especially even in Castle Hills, Crown Hill Park as well, Harmony Hills. I've seen a lot of, multifamily 2 to 4 unit homes down there for rentals if you're looking at investing and buying something like that. Again, that's kind of the major parts. I mean, again, with it being centrally located and having the space with bigger lots and lots of trees, it makes it hard to beat. So that's one of the biggest driving factors and why the prices there have been so high over the years, and they continue to go up consistently. You're really close to downtown. You're really close to the northeast side, northwest side. I mean, it's easy to get just about everywhere from that north central area of San Antonio. Now, you also have a lot of wildlife. I mean, like I said, bigger lots. There are some of the biggest whitetail bucks, deer that you'll see anywhere in the state of Texas, just driving down these streets, and you'll get them in your backyards. They'll, you have to protect your gardens from them, but they're really cool to see and just have come through the property and come down the streets. Some of the things in the North Central area, Phil Hardberger Park is one of the most popular parks in all of San Antonio, and then going up north, you have Eisenhower Park. You also have this huge area right here is Camp Bullis. You can see right here, Camp Bullis. Camp Bullis is 28,000 acre Army training facility up on the north central side of San Antonio. Kind of separates the northeast and the northwest side, and then up, we also have, basically right here at the Ram as well, and Nocatera. I mean, it's kind of right on the corner of that northwest and north central areas. You also have one of the more popular, where did it go here? I think it's right in this area. Let's see. So Cornerstone Christian Schools right here. That's one of the more popular private schools in all of San Antonio as well. So if you're not looking to put your kids in public school, that's a good private school to look into as well. Now, when it comes to housing, you can kind of see here, we got fewer houses, but it's also a smaller area. We got 412 homes for sale in that north central area, and the median price point is much higher. Like I mentioned, you're at $480,000 for the median price point, with quite a few over, that as well. We got, I think the median or the range of prices is, like $138,000 down in the Castle Hills area, all the way up to a $6.8 million estate in the Dominion. There's 63 homes for sale over $1 million in this entire area. So quite a few compared to the rest of the areas that we're going to look at. Now, if we're looking at what you can get in these areas, like I said, the ones down in Castle Hills, they're going to be the ones that are probably the most affordable. So let's look at some of those. We'll start at the bottom, go up from there. So, got some condos, got some townhomes down there in the Castlewood area, $100,000. I mean, that's not too shabby. 1 bed, 1 bath. Doesn't look too bad at all, actually. You got a couple condos you can get for low 100,000s. Now, if we're looking up to something that's, more single residential for kind of that price, you can see older homes kind of needs a lot of work on some of these guys. These are down in Los Heights, Castle Hills area, Olmus Park area down south of there. So if we're looking at, getting a little bit higher price point, maybe mid 200s, let's see where we're at here. So you can see, kind of getting a little bit nicer, a little bit, there's a condo, a little bit higher price condo. You can kind of see the housing that you're getting. Some of these need quite a bit of work at this price point in this community. It's just the nature of this area being a higher priced area, right? You continue to go, you look at a lot of those prices in the mid 250s. Now, if we are going up to, we'll say, let's get into like the 325 range, just to kind of give you an idea. So you're still kind of in that same area, Castle Hills, Olmus Park. Homes are getting to be a little bit better quality. Even that one is super good, cool looking flip. Bigger homes, still that mid-century modern look to it. You can still see the character that comes in it, and you still got the trees. I mean, look at this one in Colonial Hills. You got lots of trees and everything for $340. It's a nice looking house there. Now, getting into some of these that are more true Chavano Park area. Here's Deerfield. There you go. 439. Woods of Chavano. Like I said, you're looking at mid-4s now. So it's kind of the starting point with a lot of these. Churchill Forest and Deerfield are big ones. Village at Inwood. Quite a few of those. That's kind of the typical ones. Here's one in Rogers Ranch. You can kind of get an idea what Rogers Ranch looks like. Hunter's Creek is a nice property too. Oh yeah, it's a good looking house. I've seen that house actually. So now if we're going up a little bit higher, let's get up into mid 5s. That's kind of where you start to get the classic Chavano Park homes. Here we go, Chavano Heights, 559, 563. Here's Deerfield, 565. See, this one is a little over a quarter acre. Okay, it's a little rough, honestly. There you go. Here's a really nice Rogers Ranch house. Huge house. 3,400 square foot, 6 beds, 4 baths for $575. Castle Hills house with some property. So you can kind of see the what you're looking at as far as the type of home goes, right? Inwood, here's a good one. Just under a quarter acre. Now let's get into some of these in the Dominion. Let's show you some of these higher priced homes now. So now you may be surprised to see that you can get a house in the Dominion for under $1 million. $819,000 for a brand new house. Here's another one, $825,000 for a 3,700 square foot house. I mean, that is pretty good price actually. It's a little quirky house, but hey, you're still in the Dominion. Now, since we're talking about real estate, I want to remind you guys, I am the owner and founder of the Life in San Antonio, Texas Home Group. We have helped hundreds of people just like you move here to the San Antonio area and would love to help you guys find your new home here in San Antonio. So whether moving here in 2 days or 2 years, you can reach out, you can call us, text us, email us. My information is down below, and you can also find it right here. And feel free to reach out to us at any point in time, whether you're looking at, like I said, moving here now or several years down into the future. We can get these conversations started and kind of help you figure out where you want to go. Anywhere in and around San Antonio, any of these suburbs, we got your back whenever you're moving here to San Antonio. So the next area we're going to talk about is the east side of San Antonio. So the east side of San Antonio kind of falls right in here. I mean, you can kind of see it right here. So we're looking at basically this whole area kind of going out to 1604 all the way up to 35, including Converse, Live Oak, Windcrest, Kirby, China Grove's right in here too. The biggest thing about the east side of San Antonio is that there's not as much of like the things to do within the east side itself. It's a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of working class communities as well, right? So we have along I-10, there's a ton of warehouses, especially at this I-10 right here. I mean, you can just see the number of warehouses all up in here. So it's one of the major areas for warehouses for the supply chain industry down here on I-10 and 410. Just for the simple fact of the ease of getting to 35 to get to Austin and Dallas, going to Houston and head down to the border, down south, down into the beach as well. It's where HEB's headquarters is. It's where Rackspace headquarters is. That's actually a big tech center, but they are actually getting ready to move out. They're getting ready to find a different headquarters, which I haven't heard. I'm sure they have it by now, but I haven't seen exactly where that is. So Rackspace is going to be moving out of the east side. Now, some of the major neighborhoods, like I said, Live Oak, Windcrest here is home to the, you can see it right here, one of the biggest Christmas light contests in all of San Antonio. It's super popular every year. Me and my family go drive through it every year, along with thousands and thousands of other people. So if you love Christmas lights and you love decorating and you want to be in part of that contest, you can look at Windcrest for buying your house. But otherwise, just go and enjoy it and don't have to worry about the craziness every year for a couple of months between November and December. So when we're looking at, like I said, whenever it comes to housing in the east side, I mentioned already once that it was very similar to the south side in that it's very affordable. I mean, you're looking at a median price point of $269,000. Let's go in here and pull up the areas. So 564 homes for sale. Again, it's a smaller area, so you don't have to worry about, there's not as much as like the south side with this whole area, whereas, this one. So 564, median price point of $269,000. Again, kind of similar to the south side in that you have a lot of these older homes that people have lived in forever and ever, and they're just not as well taken care of, so they're much lower priced. You do have price, homes because of, being out in this area where you have some land, some bigger houses out there. There's a little bit higher prices homes out in those areas, but it's mostly in that below $300,000 price point. There is a lot of new builds in this area too. Converse, especially kind of down here by I-10 and 1604, they're starting to build a lot of new builds out in that area, and then up along 1604 is going up to Converse and the Shirts, Cibolo, Live Oak area. You can see here Selma, Cibolo, Shirts. I mean, this is where Randolph Air Force Base is. So it's a big area for that actually. Whenever you're looking at again, very affordable homes for coming in here and moving, and especially if you're military and moving in here for the first time, you want to find your first home, find an affordable house. Great spot for that. It is, especially getting some of these new builds that are in those low $200,000 price points. So like I mentioned, whenever you're looking at the total range of prices here, you're looking at a range of $108,000 all the way up to like $1.4 million, and basically everything above $800,000 is an outlier. And by everything, I mean all two of them. There's one at $815,000 and one at $1.4 million. Everything else is below that $800,000 price point. And there's over 460 homes that are actually below $300,000. So basically everything below $300,000 in this area specifically. So let's go look at some of these here. So when we're looking at, you get some townhomes actually. You got this one, like I said, smaller homes, but again, this is kind of the same thing that we talked about earlier. Older homes, kind of worn out, low 100,000s, but you can still get a house for below 200,000. Now, if we're looking at some of these higher priced areas, let's get up into like the more medium price point. Let's go like 230s. I bet you this is where we can find some of these new builds. There we go. So now these homes are starting to get a little bit, more well kept, newer. Horizon Point, that's a new build, built 2020. Built 2020 there. So you can kind of see what you're looking at for low 200s here. Should see some new builds actually. There should be some new builds in this price point. There we go. There's one 2019. Well, newish build anyways. There we go. Same thing. So you can kind of see where we're looking at for low 200s. Now, if we get up into the, higher 200s, 279-ish. So it's a pretty nice house there, 2017 square feet. I mean, you can kind of see what we're looking at here. There you go. There's some newer houses that are pretty nice. Bigger homes. There's a brand new one. New one. So a lot of things that come into play here. Now, if we're going up to closer to 400, just to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at there. To flip, brand new home there, 2,800 square feet, brand new home for $390,000. Meritage Homes. There you go. That's a pretty nice house there. Windcrest. There's a couple Windcrest. Windcrest actually has some really nice houses, some really cool character homes too. So if that's something you're looking at, Windcrest has a lot of that. It's actually really, some really neat looking homes, honestly. Custom style, definitely not cookie cutter by any means. You can kind of see wide ranging style of homes in these areas. Now, if we go up to the higher price points, like I said, we're looking at, when we get up over 400,000, I mean, there's very few even available. I actually got two up here now at 1.4. So, mid fours again, Windcrest. Miramar. That's a duplex actually. So you get a duplex. There you go. All right, next is we're going to hit up the northeast side. So the northeast side is, again, similar to northwest in that it is one of the more popular areas in all of San Antonio. So I'm going to have to draw around here to kind of give you an idea here. So Alamo Heights, going up past Windcrest, kind of 35 area along 1604, and then going up north, hitting the Stone Oak area, and then back down 281, hitting Thousand Oaks. We have quite a few of these areas. Alamo Heights, very high-end area. Thousand Oaks, this area all right in here is very, very similar to that northwest corner of San Antonio. You have a lot of, big trees. You got parks. You got, lots of neighborhoods up in here with lots of established neighborhoods that, lots of big trees and everything that kind of fill up in it. Stone Oak, one of the most popular areas for the schools specifically. There's the highest rated schools in San Antonio in this area. And you have some really nice views, hilltop views, some wide range of homes from 400,000 all the way up to well over $1 million. You've got, some different things to do, JW Marriott, San Antonio Hill Country Resort, TPC golf course where they have the Valero Texas Open every year. You have, Sonterra golf course here, which is kind of goes in between North Central and Northeast side. You have McAllister Park, like I mentioned already, almost 1,000-acre park right in the heart of San Antonio. Really cool spot to go hang out to. And then you got another small park here, Comanche Lookout Park, good for hiking and everything. The biggest thing about this area is that you got the San Antonio International Airport right here. So if you're living close by to the San Antonio Airport, you have to know there's going to be air traffic noise. So as long as you're okay with that, you just got to be used to that, understand that that's going to happen. But for traveling purposes, if you travel quite a bit for work or just like to travel, great location to be right on top of the airport. Alamo Heights, getting down into kind of central San Antonio, right on the edge of it. San Antonio Zoos, Alamo Heights, like I said, and Terrell Hills, they're right on the edge of that northeast corner. They really could have their own little section themselves, but we're lumping them into this northeast corner specifically for this video. Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, very high-end homes, very expensive homes. When you get in between here, you get some more that are a little bit more affordable. But Alamo Heights ISD is a very, very highly rated school district within San Antonio as well. And then, when you get out into this area out here, this Thousand Oaks, Redland Woods, Rolling Oaks Mall is up here, Fox Run, Live Oak, this whole area up here. Quite a few affordable homes out there. Morgan's Wonderland is another thing that I had to mention too. It is the world's first fully accessible, ultra accessible is what they label it as, theme park for kids. And it's not just for handicapped children as well. You can take any kid there. It is a really, really cool place to go. Additionally, we also have a little bit further out. We have kind of way further out actually, Natural Bridge Caverns and Natural Bridge Wildlife Ranch. We talk about it a lot as far as things to do in San Antonio. Really cool place to go. Take the kids, take the family as well. Go walk through the cave, go feed the animals at the wildlife ranch. Awesome spot for that. Now, a lot of people that are living in this area are actually medical professionals as well. Stone Oak is actually known for having one of a very large medical center as well. There's right in this area, right by 1604, a lot of medical facilities right in this area. So you have a lot of medical professionals that live there, and live in and around Stone Oak in this northeast area, also in this north central area because it's really close to that. So it's huge for that as well. You also have just all the general stuff, working at the airport, traveling through the airport. Everything along 35 here. You have lots of warehouses, lots of different employers down this way, and then even going out towards like Shirt, Cibolo, Selma area out here in the suburbs here, going out towards New Braunfels. So again, quite a bit of stuff, quite a bit of reasons to live in this northeast corner of San Antonio too. So let's look into the housing now. Now, when it comes to housing on the northeast side, you have quite a bit of range as well. 942 homes for sale. You have a median price point of a higher price point of $425,000. That has a lot to do with like the Stone Oak and Alamo Heights area. That northeast corner where Thousand Oaks and going over towards that Live Oak area, like I mentioned, that one's probably closer to what the northwest side is, kind of in that low threes, right around 300,000 more than likely. Stone Oak, Alamo Heights is going to drive that up quite a bit. We have a wide range of prices from $149,000 all the way up to $5.4 million. Now, when you're looking at the list of what homes we got, there's very few under $200,000 in this area. The ones that are under $200,000, again, are older homes that need some work, kind of probably in that northeast corner, closer to like that north side of Alamo Heights, between McAllister Park and the airport and Alamo Heights. That's where these are probably at. And you got some condos occasionally here and there too. And then East Terrell Hills you see here. So older homes, condos for the lower price points. Now, if you're getting into more of the like mid 200s, we're looking at kind of more classic style homes. This one's a little bit smaller, but very nice home for $240. You can just very easily see all the different styles here. Quite a few options, decent options for that mid 200s in this area. Now, getting up to the kind of higher 3s into 400s, which is going to give you a lot more of those options that are in like Stone Oak and in that getting into the I guess higher priced areas of that like Thousand Oaks northeast corner specifically. This is up in Stone Oak. That's a new neighborhood up in Stone Oak. Redland Springs, Big Springs again. Tubing Ranch. That's up in that northeast corner. Madison Heights again, right? These are all in these northeast corner. Terrell Heights there. So here you go. Here's one in Terrell Heights. Again, small home, 2-bed, 1-bath for almost $400,000. You're getting into the Terrell Hills. You can see the price point we're looking at that area. This is one in Stone Oak here. Panther Creek at Stone Oak. Again, Brookstone Creek, new builds in Stone Oak. Sonterra, so lots of those types of homes within that Stone Oak area. Now getting up into the 500s, which is kind of in the classic price point for this area. Oh, there we go, some new builds. These are bigger new builds. Boulevardy Village, that's in Stone Oak. Comanche Ridge, these are actually all, there you go. Comanche Ridge is actually a new build neighborhood kind of in that northeast corner. Alamo Heights, you can see a 1,600 square foot house for $520,000. So there you go. Again, lots in this Comanche Ridge. Here's another one out in Terrell Heights. Pretty well updated house, 1,800 square feet, $520,000, and it's active options being it is under contract, so people are buying these houses at this price. Thousand Oaks, beautiful home, $520,000, big house. You got a wide range. Cibolo Canyons. This is up by the Marriott up there, the JW Marriott. Hills at Sonterra. Again, another new one. Let's see, Alamo Heights, 1,300 square feet for $530,000. Now let's get into some of these classic Alamo Heights and higher priced homes. Start around $800,000. Let's see what we get. Sonterra, Fairways at Sonterra, golf course community. Timberwood Park, getting up into north of Stone Oak. We just hit that bottom edge of that. Another one up in Stone Oak. Cibolo Canyons, there's Northwood. That's in closer to Alamo Heights. There we go. This is one closer into Alamo Heights as well. 885. Pinnacle, that's close to Alamo Heights. See if we can get some of these. There we go. Here's a classic Alamo Heights house. Let's just see what we're looking at here. Classic Alamo Heights house there. Smaller yard, lots of character, $950,000. See some of these higher priced homes getting up into, these are up in north area of Stone Oak. See quite a few. There's a 1.4 million Alamo Heights. Again, this is what you see when you're driving through Alamo Heights. This is very, very comparable to what you'll see kind of going up through that area. Terrell Hills, 3,600 square feet, 1.4 under contract here. Let's take a look at this one too, just so you can get an idea of it. You get the idea. quite a few of a wide range of variety in this area as far as housing goes. Now, one of the areas that has the most homes for sale is the west side and the far west side of San Antonio. That's basically everything outside of where we were looking at for the northwest side, and then out almost all the way out into the county line for Bexar County to Medina County. Now, when we're getting over here to this area, it's basically everything from Helotes all the way down south, down here to like this Castroville area. So it's a very large area. I mean, really, it's like this whole entire area here. And then we're including, we looked at this this area as well, so for housing purposes. Now, Lackland Air Force Base, it's on the west side. We had that kind of sort of included in the south side. It's right on that southwest corner. So Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, and then you have Lackland Air Force Base here, and then Kelly Air Force Base here, Kelly Field Annex. So that whole area is basically the major base whenever it comes to San Antonio. You have Fort Sam Houston, which is kind of in central San Antonio, which we'll talk about here in a second. You have Lackland, you have Randolph, and you have Camp Bullis. Those are the four big ones. So whenever it comes to looking at these areas, it is where the majority of the growth has gone in recent years for a lot of these new construction. You can see this whole area out here. This used to be nothing but just big open fields and hills, right? So this has all been developed in the last 15, 20 years out into Government Canyon State Park, kind of just borders that basically, and then goes out to Bexar County essentially. Alamo Ranch, some of the major neighborhoods, you got Alamo Ranch specifically here, getting up into Helotes. Everything basically Culebra, Petrenko, anytime you hear those areas talked about, villages at West Creek down here. Briggs Ranch is a big, golf course community with some high-end homes in there. And then, you have a lot of stuff that's kind of right up in this area for Lackland, Lackland Terrace, Adams Hill, Rainbow Hills, Oak Creek, all this stuff in here. So a lot of the people that live out here are a lot of military, a lot of people that are working down in Lackland, a lot of people that are commuting into the medical center as well, because this is a pretty good spot for commuting into that area with being out of town a little bit if you don't want to be right in the middle of town, and just in general getting a lot of new build homes. And there's a lot of stuff going out here, a lot of new shops, lots of different shopping centers going up along this 1604 area basically, between the west side and northwest side. SeaWorld San Antonio is right here as well. So, quite a bit going on in the far west side. You also have the National Shooting Complex. If you're rifleman, you like to get out and shoot guns, shoot shotguns. They have lots of different competitions almost weekly there. So if you do live by, you'll hear gunshots. That's what it is more than likely. It's also Texas. A couple other neighborhoods to think about is Stillwater Ranch, which is right by Alamo Ranch, pretty close to it. And then another one is the Del Webb 55 and over community. It's pretty popular. I've had a couple of people call asking specifically about that community for, retirement home. Now, when it comes to housing, the west side, far west side, has the most homes for sale out of any of the other areas that we're going to talk about. There's 1,483 homes for sale. You've got a median price point of $345,000 in this area, and the price ranges from $130,000 all the way up to $3.2 million. Now, when we're looking at everything is pretty well in that, $400,000 to $250,000 range. That's where the vast majority of everything goes, and you have some outliers on either direction of it. But looking at the types of homes, like I said, a lot of new construction. So you're going to see a lot of homes that look very, very similar. There's a lot of new builds still going up in these areas. And then, you have the occasional, higher end community that kind of looks a little bit different, like Briggs Ranch, for example, but there's very few homes for sale in that area. So looking at this area, the majority is going to be kind of your classic, really kind of classic tract home style communities with some variations in between. But again, let's take a look at some of these just so you can kind of have an idea. Again, 5 homes under 200,000 really. So if we're looking at low 200s, we'll start at 220s, just kind of give you an idea. And this is going to be a lot of stuff that's kind of close to that Lackland Air Force Base area within Loop 1604. There's very few things that are outside of Loop 1604 that are going to be in that low 200s range at this point. So again, you can kind of see smaller homes, older homes, very, classic tract home style homes, right? They all look very similar. So now if we're going out, we're going to look into like the mid 3s and up now, kind of getting that, we'll get in that median price point, where we're at $345,000 for median. So we'll start around $330,000 and we'll go up from there. So you can see bigger homes now. Again, some newer homes. There's new home there. Again, very, very similar style homes across the board. A lot of new builds, but a lot of nice homes, so you have a lot of options to choose from if you're looking at in this area. That's a benefit, especially right now. We're in a very heavy, kind of adjustment. I would say we're not in a housing crash by any means, but there's a lot of homes for sale in this area, and there's some deals to be had, especially with these builders. So we can talk about that, like I said, with the Life in San Antonio Texas Home Group. If you're interested in buying a house in this area, reach out. We can talk about this area specifically and see if maybe there's some deals to be had on homes out there. One of the other big communities actually that I forgot to mention is Valley Ranch. So here's one that's in Valley Ranch. It's a D.R. Horton community. I've done a video about that as well. Check that one out. But Valley Ranch is a amazing community. I mean, there's some lower priced homes that D.R. Horton has built. It's only a D.R. Horton community, but there's some really big homes, but some of the best amenities I've ever seen. Basically a water park. You got a huge water slide, you got a fishing pond, you got a huge pool, you got a fitness center. I mean, anything and everything you want as far as amenities in Valley Ranch. But you can see, like I said, very, very similar homes in these areas. So it's just a matter of picking which spot you want to be in and which neighborhood you like, which builder you like, and then going from there, right? So now let's look at some of these that are kind of mid fours and up. There's not as many of those here, but just kind of give you an idea. These are bigger homes. Davis Ranch is a higher end community, some higher end builders. Arcadia Ridge as well. You can kind of see they're just getting into some nicer, higher finishes, bigger homes, 3-car garages. Hill Country Retreat. This is in Del Webb, that Del Webb 55 and over community right here. Lots in Arcadia Ridge. Callison Ranch is another big area with a lot of new builds. Perry Homes builds out there. They're really, really nice homes out in Callison Ranch. Alamo Ranch, Ladera. There's another Davis Ranch. There's another Callison Ranch. So that's kind of the higher end homes. We can get up to some of these that are kind of 600, but as you can see, once you get up above 600, you don't have very many left. Just to give you an idea on some that's up here. Callison Ranch, Davis Ranch, Weston Oaks. Those are kind of the 3 higher end neighborhoods that are still building right now. Callison, Stevens Ranch is another one. There we go. Higher price home, $700,000. Looks like a luxury home that would cost over $1 million over in Alamo Heights or Stone Oak. So as you can see, there we go. This is Brig Ranch, 1.8. That's very few homes for sale in Brig Ranch right now, but there's a lot of homes just like this one. Now, finally, we're going to get into the last section, the central San Antonio downtown area. So we're going to be looking at basically everything right along the Riverwalk, kind of south of Alamo Heights, and kind of right in this area right here. Woodlawn Park to Fort Sam Houston down to 90 and I-10, right? So downtown area right here. You can see the river here. That's the Riverwalk going all the way through here. And then we also have Pearl District, which is right here. Also right on the river. This whole area basically right here. And then Broadway, this is a really nice area all the way up here. Breckenridge Park, huge spot, is right where the Whitty Museum is. We have University of Incarnate Word. We have Japanese Tea Garden, San Antonio Zoo, Trinity University, the Doozium, which is a great spot to take your kids. You have the San Antonio Country Club here, San Antonio Botanical Garden. I mean, this is where everything is in San Antonio. The Riverwalk is right down here where the Alamo is right here. Tower of the Americas is down here. I think Tower of the Americas is right here. Kind of see that from there. Alamo Dome, where Spurs used to play. AT&T Center is actually over here. They call it the East Side. We'll give it a benefit of the doubt. It's on the East Side essentially. There we go. East Side, kind of central San Antonio. Inner East Side, I guess you could say. That's where the Spurs play. Lots of stuff that is just all right in here, right? And here is Fort Sam Houston, Joint Base San Antonio here. So big area there. Now, looking at other spots, you have Woodlawn Lake Park. Now, neighborhood specifically, Southtown, Dignity Hill, Denver Heights, Jefferson Heights, like Tobin Hill, over here, Woodlawn Lake. This is an area, Prospect Hill. Lots of kind of similar style homes, older homes, but those areas are a little bit bigger homes, a little bit more well kept, I would say. So the prices are a little bit higher. Now, another one that's close down in this area. See if we can find it on this map here. King William District. You want to talk about some cool homes, we'll find some in King William District, and I'll show you what you're looking at in King William District. But people that are going to live here are the people that want the walkability, the people that want to be around the downtown hub of San Antonio, the Pearl District, the Riverwalk, all of those different things. It's being walking distance, being just biking distance, very close drives to these areas that like the inner city feel. There is a ton of new homes coming up in these areas, and we'll show you some of them. I mean, we're talking about these, very modern kind of tall, skinny style homes, very, modern townhomes and condos. I mean, all kinds of different stuff that's being built downtown San Antonio to try to bring it up to speed. Before, it was never a place that you wanted to live, really. It was just a place you go, hung out, and you left. The homes there were always very old. They weren't very well kept. The people unfortunately lived in them, they just weren't, keeping them up as much. So they, a lot of those homes were abandoned, and some of these lots were bought. And then you get some people that come in and have purchased these lots, these empty lots, or they purchased some of these older homes and they've started building new homes. And you're getting some really, really nice newer homes in these areas. So again, it's something where you can get a very affordable home, some of these older, smaller homes, and fix it up yourself. I know multiple people that are friends of mine that have done that themselves, and it's been great for them. And then whenever they get ready to start their families and move on, they move on to bigger homes after that point. But again, there's a lot of stuff to think about with this downtown areas. You can get higher priced condos, you can get these high end new builds, you can get I mean, they're talking penthouse condos. The King William district has some higher priced homes that are some just outstanding styles, just old colonial cottage styles. I mean, it's hard to explain, but you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a second. So there are actually quite a few homes for sale in this area. There's 764 homes currently for sale in this downtown central San Antonio area, and the median price point is under $300,000 at $299,000. There's over 200 that are actually below $300,000, and then you have a pretty wide range after that. There's condos. There's 92 condos that range from $150,000 all the way up to those penthouse condos that I mentioned, over $2 million for some of these. You also have some super historic neighborhoods like the King William district, like I mentioned. So let's get into what some of these look like. Now, looking at some of these condos, like I said, wow, look at this, $45,000, $50,000, $55,000 for a condo. 600 square feet, it's not much, but again, to be able to buy your own place for $50,000, right there. I mean, that's not a bad place at all. Wow, $55,000 for some of those condos. Now let's get into some of these higher priced, kind of more medium priced. $170 starting here. Again, like I said, Denver Heights is a really nice area, but it's got some older homes in it. So that's what you're looking at here. This one's been recently built, 2020 actually. This is $178 for a brand new home. That's not too terrible at all. You can see some of these, they just need work. It's just they haven't been well kept. They just need to be fixed up. This one looks like it's been fixed up. $185, 1949. Let's see what the inside looks like. Yeah, you can see this one's been fixed up, been purchased and fixed up. Probably like one of those situations, young family bought it, moved into it, fixed it up. So you can see you can get some very affordable homes in this area for sure. Now getting up into kind of the mid twos, kind of showing the higher end versions, bigger homes in this area. Denver Heights, these are all remodeled homes, brand new build, 2023, 260. Yeah, I mean, so you can see what I'm talking about here. So these are more the classic style, but you have new builds that are not 500,000 in this area, like we will get to here in a second. So let's get here mid-rise. There's some higher price condos here, 415. Now this is getting into, you see, this is what I'm talking about. Some of these townhomes, right? 415,000. Denver Heights, Government Hill, another spot, Tobin Hill, Denver Heights, Mankey Park, Terrell Hills, kind of getting up into the Terrell Hills area. So Woodlawn Terrace. I mean, you can see some of these homes have got some great character to them. That's the crazy thing about this. Do got a lot of condos, like I said. So Denver Heights, here's one of these new builds I was talking about, very modern style, 2023 for 440. I mean, you can just clearly see. You can see they built quite a few of those right on top of each other here. There's another one. So quite a few of those down in there. Now, if we're getting up into the higher price points, kind of into the upper fives. Nowdy, there you go. Remodeled house from 1915. Remodeled house from 1924. It was a brand new home. Tobin Hill, remodeled house from a long time ago. Denver Heights, look at that house. Super modern. Terrell Hills again. Trying to get you some of these King William district houses too. You can just see condos, new builds. Monticello Park, really cool style home there. So as you can see, lots of modern new builds in these areas, with a mix of a lot of historical homes too. So it's a pretty wide ranging facet of different types of homes. Now let's look at some of these condos real quick. Just some of these ridiculous. Here's the most expensive one. almost $3 million for a penthouse condo. A lot of people don't think of San Antonio as having these types of properties, but they do. You know, right outside the Tower of the Americas, looking right at it. Not something you think of when you think of San Antonio as seeing these types of homes. So now, last thing we'll get into right here. Let's check out some of these in King William District. $2 million, but you can see the style of home we're talking about. This is this old style home. I mean, just look at that. Almost 2 million, 1 million, 3 million. 3.475. I mean, that's a new build. You know, there's not much in King William District, but it's all higher price point. You can kind of see it right here. 995. So again, kind of what we're looking at. I think these are the very, very good examples of what we're talking about with the King William District. You can just kind of see. So overall, guys, this is a huge, long video of everything you need to know about where to live in San Antonio. If you are more interested in learning more about the schools of San Antonio, check out this video right here. It tells in detail everything you need to know about the best schools in San Antonio. And be sure you subscribe, hit that like button, hit that comment, and let me know what you think about this video. And we will see you in the next one, guys.